Good morning, everybody. How's it going? Let's wait a few minutes, see if anybody jump on. Fix this chat here. Hi, Bonnie. How you doing? Good morning. Good morning. Oh, coffee's so good. All right. So I was shuffling the cards this morning because, I mean, there's always stuff that I could talk about, but I want to make sure I'm really getting the message across of what someone needs to hear today, or what the group, the group, YouTube, everybody that rewatches the video needs to hear today. And hi, kids. Miss you guys. Good morning, Gail. So I really, I always tune in. I try to get, whatever, but I felt I had to pull the cards today, which I haven't done for the last few videos. So I wanted to pull a card today, and I'm shuffling, and the energy in the deck is so stagnant. It doesn't want to move. So I have to clear it a couple times, and then I'm shuffling, and it's taking forever. And literally this card flew out of the deck. Not just came out and flew on the floor, it flew out. So we're going to talk about this card today. So wait a couple more minutes, see if anybody comes on, another minute or two. If not, they can watch it on the replay. I have my coffee this morning, Starbucks, cinnamon dolce coffee. I actually had a really good coffee. My friend here, my new friend that I made here, she has Donut Shop makes this sweet and creamy blend of coffee that has creamer and sugar in it, and it's the hazelnut kind. The only thing is that they don't sell it anywhere else. You have to really get it on Amazon, or if you find it at one of those stores that they resell coffee. And she gave me, because she has K-Cups, so I took one and tried it. It was so good. I was like, this is so easy. I need to get a whole box of them and another Keurig because I don't have one. And just to note, if you don't have a Keurig and you want to use the K-Cup, you can put the coffee grinds in the filter and use it. But you cannot do hot chocolate, and you cannot do that sweet and creamy one that I tried because it does not seep through enough. It's too thick. So just a little note for you. All right, let's talk about this card. So the card that I pulled, I'm going to show YouTube people first, was pay attention. Messages: notice repetitious signs in your inner guidance, as this can yield valuable information. So are we getting signs? Are we asking for guidance, for help, and we're not paying attention? That's a huge thing. Even for me too, sometimes I'm not always paying attention or, into my gut feeling, my intuition. Most of the time I am. Sometimes I get off. So, how many of you, I don't know if anybody's watching that wants to talk about it, but how many of you have asked your loved one or your spirit guides or your guardian angels and you haven't paid attention? And you're like, oh my God, I haven't seen any signs. Why don't they send me any signs? Why am I not seeing them? Or maybe you are seeing signs, like you've seen that feather or a penny or a dime or a butterfly or a dragonfly, and you thought nothing of it. I always ask for signs. My guides, my loved ones that have crossed over, I always ask for something specific. And then it's not so much getting the sign and then saying, oh, I got the sign. Stop for a second and pay attention around you and what's going on at that moment. Maybe what you were thinking of right before that you saw that sign, Be aware of your surroundings. Sorry, I cannot talk today. My throat's very dry today. What's around you, like, are you around your loved one's favorite store? Maybe you look up and you see someone you know, or you see a license plate that has, the numbers 333, 222, which are all spiritual numbers that are telling you that you're having an awakening and you need to wake up. And that the angels and guides are supporting you. So, paying attention is huge. I'm trying to decipher this card a little bit. I mean, she's holding on to the dolphins. I don't know. It's kind of like she's not paying attention, I guess, this card. She's not looking really, right? She has stuff going on around her and she's not really paying attention. Come on, mermaid, get with it. Let's see what Leanne said. It's part of the cycle where you're far more aware of things no longer serving you, and I'm very explosive. I do need to actually execute at this point many signs. Yeah, so, if you have signs like that, take your journal out. Start writing stuff down. Start journaling, being aware of everything. I try to write down every single thing now because I go back to it and I reference and I'm like, oh yeah, remember that last time when that happened? It's good to kind of go back and see not only what you wrote down, but like where you were at that point. Maybe your mindset has changed. Maybe you've had some huge growth. Maybe you've, been stagnant and you need to figure out what happened. Like you were so good at that time. Now we have to go forward and we need to work it out. But it's so important. God, when I see signs, I get so excited. And I'll either whoever, maybe someone I'm talking to, or my husband, I'll text them and be like, oh my God, look at this. And they're like, my husband doesn't say it, but people like friends and whatnot will be like, oh my gosh, what is that? Like, why are you sending me that? Well, it's my sign for today. Like if I go back through my notes on my phone, I'll see random numbers because I always write them down when I see them. Before I moved to Florida, actually last year when I was visiting here, we were on vacation, right before I left from back home, we were literally on our way to Florida, and I seen 44FL444, which 444 means the angels are guiding you, supporting you, they're around you. And to see that with FL was like mind-blowing. I was like, oh my God. Because, at that point, we were coming on vacation, but I really wanted to move here. So that was the start of the manifestation process and the universe letting me know that, stay positive, stay in that good vibration, you'll start getting what you want and making Florida a priority. So, and obviously I'm here. So I'm, living proof that you can have what you want. You just have to work at it. It takes action. And paying attention is part of that. The action. Like, okay, let me see what's going on around me. Am I in a good place? Am I happy, or am I, it's also paying attention to your inner self. Am I, happy? Am I excited? Is every little thing frustrating me? Well, you need to think about that. If you're getting mad every single day and something's bothering you and you're frustrated, you need to sit with that emotion, that feeling and see what's going on. Break it down. Bring it up. It's already surfacing, so you're already getting mad. So how can we go about, working it out? How can we let it go? People think we need to stuff things away. We don't. Stuffing things away will kill you. It will eat you from the inside out. We need to bring it up, work on it. I had some really big stuff this weekend to work on. I was really not, I'm not going to say I wasn't in a good place. I was in a really good place. And I just needed to work on my stuff. And the signs were there too. Tons of signs. Tons of messages from the universe, from spirit, from my father. Tons. And it was tough. A lot of stuff that maybe I haven't thought about in the past that I should have thought about. resurfaced. So anybody watching, anybody has seen signs recently? Or something that you thought was a sign, or something that happened that, like I always say, oh my God, that's so crazy, I seen that. But I'm not saying it in a crazy way. I'm saying it's in a good, crazy way. So did you get to that point where you saw something that you're like, why is that coming up for me? Or why am I seeing that? I want to hear about it. Tell me. Tell me. While I wait to see if anybody says anything. So last night we watched A Wrinkle in Time, and if you have not seen that movie, I'm sure you've read the book. Someone's probably read the book or the series. But that movie is awesome. And I cried at like 3 different parts of it because I felt so connected to my beliefs as a spiritualist, and just with the universe, because I always talk about the universe, and it was just a beautiful movie. So if you have not seen that movie, please see it. Get your tissues, have the kids sit down with you and watch it. It is amazing. And I think I want to read the whole book series now. I didn't even know. It's like I always find out only when the movie comes out that, oh my God, this was a book series. So yeah, maybe I need to pay attention more, right? Pay attention. Gail says, I see pennies and dimes, but always convince myself it is just something that fell in my pocket. Do you feel these are actual signs from me, or are there signs that I'm not aware of? Those are absolutely signs from loved ones. Absolutely. Especially pennies and dimes. Those are actually significant stuff. You don't see, well, I don't, because somebody else could see it, but usually you don't see quarters or nickels and someone says, oh, it's significant. But in the spirit world, pennies and dimes are very significant. Very. So when you start to see that, Gail, pick up, acknowledge the dime and then sit for a minute and say, why am I seeing this? And don't overthink it. Just let whatever thought comes in at that time, that's your intuition. Or that might, it could be the person that you've lost on the other side telling you, yes, that's me, I'm here. So if you think of them while you're holding that penny or dime, that's them showing you that sign. And maybe they want you to be aware of something. I'll talk about this sign. I don't know if I talked about it before on another video, but I'm repeating it. So it was Christmas, this past Christmas, and I was kind of frustrated in the kitchen cooking, and I don't remember why I was upset, but I was frustrated, and all I wanted to do was sit down and eat my food. And I brought my food to sit down, and my oldest son, was in the living room with me. My husband was in the kitchen. The other kids were in their room, and the Christmas tree was in the living room to the right. And I was sitting there, and I was like so frustrated, and I sat down, and I must have made some kind of comment again, like, oh my gosh, like, why can't I sit down and just eat my food? And literally the bulb from the Christmas tree came off the tree and flew across the room. Like, my son was there, and he's seen it, so he was a witness. And he was like, what was that? Immediately, I knew it was my father telling me that he was there and that I needed to relax. So you might not always be tuned in like that, but if spirit really wants to get something across to you, they will. They will. And that took a lot of energy from my father from the other side to be able to move that bulb. But it can't happen. It's usually a more advanced soul, but he moved it from the tree. And I was like, even for someone who believes in spirit and talks to spirit, I still was like, holy shit. I cannot believe he did that. So immediately I knew it was my father. I'm not second guessing it. I'm not, trying to figure it out, because that's what happens is, like, we can use our gut so much, but we think too much into it. We are second guessing it all the time because, again, you might be someone who's just starting this journey and doesn't know how to I can never speak. Someone help me. Can never separate my thought from spirit thought or your intuitive thought. It takes a lot of work, and you have to start meditating to separate the mind, clear it out so you have space. So yes, those are definitely signs from spirit. And spirit might do, it's really what it means to you at that moment. So that's why you need to be aware of it. I'm trying to think of any other random signs over the years. I always see numbers. That's a huge thing. Always see numbers, especially if I'm thinking about something that I want to manifest or I get happy about or excited. And it's almost like spirit's reminding me to kind of stay on that track. If you see 1111 a lot, that's a huge number for keeping your thoughts positive and pure, because you're, manifesting rapidly. So you should try to stay as positive as you can and really think about what you want, which we should be anyways, because we're creating our life every day by talking. Thinking in our head and speaking. Any thought we have, we're manifesting our life. So if you haven't sat with your thoughts recently and kind of took note of them and what's going on with them, and I rewatch these videos, that I do here because I want to make sure, I'm saying the correct stuff and it's positive, and because I really am careful about what I'm thinking. And don't get me wrong, I'm human, and sometimes I get mad and angry, and it's just part of being a physical being on this earth, and it happens. But you can quickly shift it so it will turn around and you can start manifesting again. But yeah, think about your thoughts and maybe, sit with them for a minute. When you get angry, it's the hardest thing to do, especially if you're really caught up in that emotion. But if you're angry about something, maybe someone like cut you off driving, and that happens to me a lot, and I get mad, but I'm like, you know what? It's not going to bother my zen here. Like, whatever. It happened. We're going to push it away. That person could be having a bad day as well. There's some stuff going on with them. Let me just send them light, and that's it. I'm going to stay in my happy bubble here because nothing's coming in. So that's another thing about paying attention to your gut, to your inner self. Do you notice that though? Like if you're in a bad mood or something bad happens for the day, it almost sets the tone for the day, and everything else starts to fall, like the domino effect of bad things. It's the same way too if you do it. Something good happens in the morning. That's why I always say listen to affirmations in the morning, meditate in the morning, like do everything positive in the morning, even at nighttime before you go to bed. Set the tone for the day, because then that keeps you flowing the way you want to flow. So yeah, paying attention. This girl in this car too, she doesn't have her eyes open. Maybe she's meditating. I don't know. But open your eyeballs and start being aware. And not only with your sight, like let's use all those psychic gifts that we have through our chakras. Like let's feel, let's see, let's hear, let's taste. Like let's do some mindful eating, especially when it comes to health and body and like what your body can tolerate, what it can't. Tune into the food. Everything is energy. Everything. Tune into it. Talk to it. We rescued an aloe plant we were at Lowe's over the weekend, and that was an aloe plant, little baby, and it still had life in the middle, and I was like, we're going to save this plant. So I repotted it. I gave it Reiki, and it seems to be holding up pretty well. So remember, the plant is energy. It probably was stuck in Lowe's in the corner and didn't have any light shining on it, the sun, it didn't get watered. Maybe there was no people around. Maybe it was just like dead space. So now it's outside near my pool in the sun. I'm giving it Reiki. I'm talking to it. Talk to your plants. They hear you. They hear you. Everything is energy. So yeah, start paying attention. Start being more mindful of the stuff that's around you. It could change your life. Totally. Totally. But yeah. Anybody else that's watching? I know there's people watching. Anybody else have any signs? Or we're talking about paying attention to our signs and inner guidance. You know, have you recently seen a sign or something that, you know, maybe you found something? Oh, the thought just came in now about another sign that I seen that was very significant to me. My grandmother used to have this key ring that was an elephant, and she loved elephants. And that's how I always knew it was her keys, because she had it forever. And as a kid, like, she had it for years. So every time I would, you know, be around her, I would play with it. It was a bright blue. Well, that's interesting. See, the signs are coming up now. It was turquoise, and I literally woke up this morning and saw turquoise color. And she had this key ring. I think it said bingo on it. I'm pretty sure it said that she loved bingo. So I think it said that on it. And one day, probably last year, there was this random piece of paper in the walkway in front of my house, which we never really use other than like UPS, whatever we would always use the side. And there was this piece of paper. It was a lottery ticket that you fill out. You know, give it to the person and they can put the numbers in for you. And on the back side of it, the blank part, was an elephant that looked exactly like my grandmother's keychain. And it did have a saying, and I forget what it is. I'm going to have to see if I took a picture of it, because I usually do. I think I kept it, but I have no idea where it is. It's probably in a book somewhere on my shelf. But it had the elephant, and it said, I think it said, like, I love you or something like that on it. Crazy. And the lottery ticket has significance too, because my grandmother and grandfather were avid lottery players, to the point where they had their little folder with their lottery tickets, their slips for each week, what they were going to do, Mega Millions, whatever, all that crap. So that's a huge sign, a huge and creative. It's going to give my grandmother that. That was good. And I'm talking about her too, because she's really been around. I got a good message from her last week. So, but yeah, so like that's how they do stuff. You know, also too, you might randomly hear a song in your head, maybe a song that you haven't heard in a long time. Maybe a song that's had meaning for you, and you know, it makes you think about someone, makes you think about a part, you know, a time in your life, something that maybe you need to reprocess again. So I want you to think back, you know, today, and really just like be aware of the signs today. And if anything significant comes up for you, I want you to message me, let me know. Or if you're on my Facebook group, post it in there. But yeah, I mean, tons of significant signs. I think the most significant one for me from my father, which was validated through a mediumship reading I had, was, you know, he sent my husband to me. My husband's name is David, and my father's name is David. I don't know how to get any more specific. Seriously. So your loved ones, your guides, your guardian angels, everybody, they want to communicate with you, and they are on a daily basis, but you just have to be aware of them. You know, when you might feel like a breeze comes by you, or you might feel a little tingle on your arm, or, you know, someone touched you and you got chills. That's your loved ones. They're telling you that they're here. And especially after someone passes away, we're so much in the grief process after someone dies that we don't see it. We're consumed in that grief. So we usually don't see it. But they always usually show a sign after to let you know they're okay. One of the biggest ways is dreams. Dreams is a huge thing. So if you feel like you're not seeing signs outside or during the day, at nighttime, what are you dreaming about? is your grandmother coming and talking to you in your dream? Because that's how they communicate. That's the best way for them to communicate with you in the beginning if you're not open and aware to it. So pay attention. And get your journal out. Write it down. Keep it next to your bed. It's really tough. In the beginning, I didn't want to do any of that either, but we did it. We worked on it. So, yeah. So here's the card again. Pay attention. Open your eyeballs. See all the good around her, too. Now that I'm picking up more stuff on this card, but all the good around her, the dolphins around her. She has this awesome stuff, and dolphins are super intuitive, too. So they're probably reminding her, hello, open your eyeballs here. Pay attention to what's going on. You have all this good around you. And let it flow in. So that's it. That's what I wanted to talk about today. I hope everybody has a good day. I have a few things that are going to be coming up. I took a little bit of time away from different things I wanted to do in classes and whatever. Working on some of my own stuff. But more stuff's going to be coming up, more collaborations, more live videos. I'm actually going to be doing another one with topics. I also want to know if you have any questions, you could message them to me privately about stuff that you would like to know about family relationships and maybe why you got these parents for this lifetime, stuff like that. I just want to know about parent questions, and I'm going to answer them on a live with somebody else. So please let me know about that. And then join me Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Psychic Hour, where I answer your questions psychically. What else? Make sure you share, like, subscribe, whatever you need to do to get access to these videos every week, these lives every week. And if you know someone who needs them, share, message me. I also have my 20-minute coaching calls if you feel stuck in your spiritual journey, emotional journey. I'm here. We can start with a 20-minute call and see what the biggest issue is right now. We can start working on it. Start peeling that onion away. So do that. I actually have some time today. So if anybody's interested in that, you can go on my booking page and schedule that with me. And I'll be happy to help you. I hope everybody has a great day. I think the weather back north is better today than it was yesterday. Did you guys have a tornado? Welcome to the weather here. 1 minute it's sunny and then it rains. But it's fine. It's great. So have a great day, everybody. Good week. And I will talk to you soon. Take care.